So I am 29 weeks pregnant and I have a daughter that's 27 months old. And I've been reading about health and nutrition and wellness for a very long time. And I wanted to share some information about things that I've learned about being pregnant and breastfeeding and some requirements. So that if anybody else is trying to do this or trying to figure out if it's possible, maybe this can help you out. Okay, so there's three things I want to talk about: hydration, calcium, and protein. So, hydration is really important when you're pregnant. They tell you when you get pregnant that you should be drinking about 60 ounces of water a day. 60 ounces is the equivalent of 12, no, this is a 12-ounce can. 60 ounces is the equivalent of five of these. If you're drinking a 16-ounce bottle of water, is this 16 ounces? This is more than 16. No, this is 16 ounces. If you're drinking a 16-ounce bottle of water, it would be a little less than four of those. Four of those would be 64 ounces. So if you're breastfeeding, you need to drink more water than that because the breastfeeding's super dehydrating, depending on how much you're nursing. If I were nursing Irish twins, like my baby is 1 year old and I'm 27 weeks pregnant or 29 weeks pregnant, I'm probably going to need to drink a lot more water. My baby is 27 months old, so she doesn't nurse as much as she did when she was 9 months or when she was 1 year old. So you would need to adjust the amount of water that you're drinking based on the demands on your body. If you're not staying hydrated, you're not going to be able to keep up with milk production. Also, this time of year in the Pacific Northwest, where I live, it's winter, and so the heater's on. And the heater is producing a lot of heat and dry air, so then I have to drink even more water to stay hydrated. Now, I think one of the things that people don't realize when they're breastfeeding is how much more you're supposed to be eating to keep up with milk production. The baby is taking so many calories out. You may need to make sure you're putting those in the way of nutritious food. And so it's like 400 to 600 calories more a day that you're supposed to be taking in when you're breastfeeding, and you're supposed to be taking in a little bit more calorically when you're pregnant, too. So, I mean, it's different for everybody. I myself am not really needing to gain a ton of weight for this pregnancy, but I am still breastfeeding the baby, so I need to make sure that I'm taking in, and everybody needs to adjust it for their personal needs and what's going on in their life. But one thing you definitely need to do is you need to make sure when you're pregnant, even if you're not breastfeeding, that you're getting 1,000 milligrams of calcium a day, and you need to make sure that you're getting 70 grams or more of protein a day. It's important when you're building a tiny human, but then when you're breastfeeding, you need to do even more than that. So if you're breastfeeding a 9 month old or a 12-month old, you're going to need to do a lot more calcium. And if you're breastfeeding a younger baby, then you would need to do more protein. If you are breastfeeding an older baby and they get a lot of their calories from food and other sources, then you don't need to do it as much, but you still need to do it. Otherwise, there's all this calcium getting leached out of your body and leached out of your bones and teeth. And so it is important that you get as much calcium as you can. Now, some vegetarian sources of calcium or vegan sources of calcium are broccoli and leafy greens. A lot of people don't realize leafy greens are an excellent source of calcium. A lot of people think, oh, calcium, I need to eat more cheese, drink more milk. No, almond milk is a surprisingly really rich source of calcium. So, what I like to do in the morning is I make a smoothie every morning. And I do about 50% coconut water. Coconut water, really hydrating, very good for milk production. And then I'll do 50% almond milk right now because I'm also trying to get all this calcium for the baby. Another thing you can do when you're making a smoothie like that is you can add some protein powder. So I do that. I add a nice, really veggie rich protein powder every day to my smoothie. And then if you want to go even further, you can take like a handful of organic pre-washed baby spinach and just throw it into the blender with your fruit and your coconut water and the almond milk and the smoothie powder. And boom, you're starting off your day with a ton of calcium, a ton of protein, bunch of healthy nutrients from the fruits and vegetables that are in there. So if you are pregnant and nursing, I highly recommend starting your day with a smoothie like that. Another thing that you can use in the smoothies other than almond milk and coconut water is oat milk. Oat milk is really good for milk production, but I do really, really like the coconut water and the almond milk. It does me wonders. When I was going to work and I was pumping while I was early on in my breastfeeding journey, I found that when I drink coconut water, my milk production would be much more voluminous and the milk would be of really thick, rich, healthy quality. If you're getting the coconut water that has the chunks of meat in it, has a lot of healthy fats in it, and the healthy fats are really good for brain building. And so when your baby is growing inside your womb and when your baby is growing and you're nursing them, putting as much healthy fat as you can into your diet and really bolstering it really is going to bolster the quality of the milk, also the quality of the nutrition the baby in the womb is getting, and that's going to increase overall IQ. I know they have studies on like healthy fats and babies that had these healthy fats in the womb and when the mother is breastfeeding and what it can do for your baby's budding brain. Oh my God, it is amazing. My daughter's 27 months now, and she is like a year advanced in linguistics. She can speak in sentences, and she knows the letters of the alphabet. She can count to 20. She can tell me the sounds of the letter of the alphabet, like B makes a b, b, b sound. So, I mean, this stuff is really worth thinking about if you are taking care of a tiny human. It's a big responsibility. And so you should really be thinking about like everything that you can do to set them up for success. But also you want to set yourself up for success because if you're not getting enough calcium, then it's going to get leached out of your body. And that's just really sad. It can lead to osteoporosis and it can lead to dental problems. And nobody wants that. Nobody needs that. So just, besides cheese, another good way to get calcium is almond milk, leafy greens, broccoli. Oh, there's a list somewhere of vegan calcium sources. You could probably find it on Google. I don't have the whole list here right now. Okay, and then protein. What I've been doing for protein, because you have to get 70 grams of protein a day when you are building a tiny human, aka pregnant, I've been doing a lot of eggs. And I just think that that is something worth mentioning because eggs are also an excellent source of omega fatty acids, and omega fatty acids are really great for brain building. So it's really great for the baby that I'm growing in my womb. Also, not bad for the milk production. And another thing is, my toddler loves eggs, so then she's eating a ton of eggs. And that's taking some of the pressure off of me having to breastfeed her as much. Once your baby is like 6 months old or older, you can start feeding them eggs. One of my favorite recipes for babies 6 months and older, if your baby's ready for solids, like moving past like just like the liquidy pouches and the baby food and stuff like that, is you can take half a banana, stick it in the blender, one egg, just with the blender a few times, and then fry that in some organic butter, little like, what do I do? Like silver dollar sized pancakes. You cook them for a couple minutes on each side until they're just starting to turn golden. And yeah, the babies love them. They're super easy. And the eggs, excellent source of protein, excellent source of omega fatty acids. And then the bananas are an excellent source of iron and potassium, lots of vitamins and nutrients in bananas. And oh, butter. Butter is actually really good for your brain development too. It has retinol in it and a bunch of other great fats. Really, really good for brain development. Organic butter, totally worth the investment. All right, well, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'll probably respond. And do me a favor, if you like this video, feel free to hit that like button. If you really want to help me out, subscribe to my channel. Take care.